How's it going, guys? Welcome to Minimize Media. I'm your host James, and welcome to the follow-up of my playthrough of Devil May Cry. Yes, I did. Very, very much. It's like, I love the franticness of it, the rapid fire of it. It's really cool, especially sort of through the middle of the game when you start getting good, or when I started getting good anyway. And you're sort of surrounded by them, and the better you get at sort of dodging and moving and stuff, and like jumping over and just sort of weaving in and out of enemies, the more you just feel like a total badass. I just love the way that, like, if you get surrounded by enemies and you just move around and you're just taking them out one by one, just gets the adrenaline going. The combat in it is so much fun. So much fun. I had an absolute blast playing it. It really, I don't know, it makes you, like, it's not the most creative, like, combat. It might have been for the time, but for me it's not the most creative combat, but it's so enjoyable. Yeah, I had a blast playing this game. The story is really cool. It's like, I love the fact that he's like the son of Sparda. That's such a cool thing. And like the imagery of Sparda at the very beginning when it's describing him and it's showing him with the sword and stuff. Really cool. Great story. It's not the best. I think in terms of the whole Devil May Cry story, I think it gets better as the games progress, right up to, you know, the new one, the fifth one. I think the story does get more in-depth, it gets a lot better, it gets a lot more chunky. And in this one, it's sort of meat and two veg. You're called to go to this castle, you know, your company is you take, you know, you do special jobs, Devil May Cry. And you get called to the castle, and all of a sudden you start finding out about Mundus, and he was the one that killed your parents, and all that kind of stuff. And through Devil Trigger and stuff like that, you get to see how Dante really looks. Dante is definitely, as far as a main character goes, definitely one of the coolest, slickest, most badass like main characters in like gaming history. How could you not love him? He's just ultra cool, slick. He's got like, you know, he's got personal issues when it comes to sort of avenging his father and avenging his parents, should I say, and stuff like that. But in terms of cool character, don't look any further than Dante. Really cool. Gameplay is fun. Really fun. Like I said before, the dodging and stuff is really cool, but you have to sort of learn to nail it. It takes a lot of your skill to be able to do something like that. And with it being a PS2 game, like most of the games I play on this channel, but with it being a PS2 game, there's obvious sort of drawbacks with the gameplay. Sometimes Dante is not overly responsive when it comes to attacking, and sometimes there's like, at the end of an attack, there's like a delay where Dante takes ages to sort of finish the attack before you can actually do another dodge and move out of the way of another enemy. It doesn't feel as maybe rapid fire as I wanted it to, or as I needed it to sometimes. But I think that boils down to my style as well. Obviously, I'm not most amazing at games in general. So, I struggled with little bits of elements of it. But if you can get it right, man, the gameplay is super fun. It's like, it is responsive, it is good. It's not as responsive as I personally needed it to be. But I thought the gameplay was excellent. Really Ooh, I have one thing that I didn't like about the gameplay, and the platforming. Now, I don't think it's because I'm rubbish. I am, but I don't think it was because of that. I like getting from one platform to another, and the perspective of the camera angles sometimes it's just all off. It just messes you up big style. You don't know how far to jump, and you think you've made it, and it's not quite done it. Like, there's one part when I had to get the Ifrit, the gloves for the fighting combat, if you like. I sound so cool. But, like, when I had to jump up on the moving platforms and stuff to get to it, it just got really annoying. It did get really, really annoying and tedious. And there are some other platforming elements in the game that got a tiny bit tedious for me, gameplay-wise. But they were few and far between, so I'm not going to call it a massive drawback. But in terms of the combat and stuff, yeah, really, really great gameplay. Personally, for me, I really loved the graphics of this game. It was one of the big upsides for me playing this. Like, revisiting it after such a long time, after seeing the new one come out as well, seeing how so beautiful and stunning and vivid everything is in the new one, I was a bit sort of like, oh, there's no way that the original's going to hold up to that, to this, it's because it's stunning. But man, with every visual element, like seeing the castle for the first time, all the ocean in the distance, all the nooks and crannies when you're in small rooms, bookcases and stuff like that. Me, personally, I think the graphics were stunning on this game. Really, really great. Great for its time, and I still think they hold up now, for me, personally. It's got that sort of PlayStation 2 roughness to it, if you like, which when we were kids, it wasn't PlayStation 2 roughness, it was just awesome. But right now, in 2020, you can tell what era it's from, especially if you're not playing a HD version of it, because on the channel I played the original version of it straight from the PlayStation 2. So you can see the rough edges that, you know, it just, for the graphics for the time, it just is. But, having said that, I thought the graphics were absolutely stunning. I wouldn't change anything about the graphics. I thought they were great. I think Dante's character model was awesome. So cool looking. The big jacket and stuff like that. He looked bulky, but he looked, you know, skinny enough and capable to be able to do all the flips and jumps and stuff. All the monsters were all grotesque and vivid, and especially those ones that came out of the puddles in the ground, where you had to hit the symbols on the side to stop it dragging you down into the hell world. They looked gross, but really nice, and like you could pick them out. You could pick little bits out in them. The enemies looked spot on, so cool. I thought the graphics were stunning, personally. So yes, I think the graphics hold up today. As far as unique elements go, the whole thing, the whole package, the whole of Devil May Cry, not just as this game, but as a series, super unique. There's not really... I mean, it takes elements from stuff like Castlevania and things like that. I definitely get that vibe anyway. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments if, like... in fact, yeah, let me know in the comments what kind of vibes you get from Devil May Cry. What influences draw from it. Personally, for me, it feels like 3D Castlevania kind of style, which is really cool because I love Castlevania. But in terms of unique elements, it is unique completely. The gameplay is unique. It's its own sort of thing. The graphics are their own, the gothic style of it. I think a lot of games now like have taken that sort of gothic style under their wing because of Devil May Cry. That's how it appears to me anyway. The way that, yeah, it's all about hell and doom and gloom and like demons and stuff like that, but at the same time it's got this like comedic like undertone, like these one-liners and stuff like that. Super unique for back in the day. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I think in terms of unique elements, the whole thing is unique. There's no one thing that I can pinpoint that sets it apart from everything. It just is set apart from it, like completely, as a whole package. Yes, one downside for me, and I don't know if it's because of the time period that it came out, but I'll just come out and say it. The fixed camera angle. Now, it wasn't a massive, horrible thing all the way through the game that completely ruined it for me. That's not the case at all, definitely not. But, and I know at the time, you've got games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil and Parasite Eve and stuff, games like that, where it's a complete, like, corner, fixed camera angle, kind of thing. And I haven't got like a problem with fixed camera angle, not at all. I think that kind of gameplay, or that kind of style of camera can add to a mood of a game, definitely, especially when it comes to like Silent Hill and stuff like that. You feel the encapsulation, if that's such a word, of the game. You feel closed in, you can see all the walls, you know? And the way you move around in the environment, it almost feels like you're peeking in on the game as opposed to playing it. But there were points in the game where the fixed camera angle, where you move to a certain area, especially if it was in bigger rooms, like in one of the bigger sort of castle chambers, where you move to a certain point and the camera just went boom and it's on the other side, and all of a sudden the controls are all inverted and switched and you're not running in the direction you think or you need to be running in, especially if you're against a boss. Sometimes that definitely got on my nerves a little bit, and sort of messed me up. I think the fixed camera angle in general is not a bad thing in the game. I just think in certain points of the game, it definitely made the gameplay messy. That's probably the best way I can say it. Again, not terrible, not a massive downside, but it was definitely something that threw me off and just was a bit annoying to me, to be honest. Would I recommend that you play Devil May Cry right now in 2020 and beyond? Hell yes. Definitely. Get yourself a PS2 or an emulator or whatever your medium, however you want to get hold of it. Definitely play it, especially if you've played the new one. Because I've played a bit of the new one and it's awesome. It's great. It's really, really fun. I love it. But it's really cool to see where it came from, to see the beginnings of the story and the beginnings of the idea of Devil May Cry and where it came from. And you know, it was such a great concept back in the day. It blew everyone's minds with how just cool and slick it was, and all the adverts for it really cool. Everyone got super excited for it. I would highly recommend that you play this game. Definitely, this is one of the sort of the PlayStation 2 classics, you know, absolute classics. I would definitely recommend you play this game. In terms of would I play it again? Yeah, in a heartbeat, definitely. It was super fun, super fun. I can definitely see myself, you know, with certain games when you completed them and you sort of put them down for like a year, 2 years, whatever the case may be, you get a sort of itch, like, oh, I haven't played that in a while. I feel that way about Skyrim, like, I know a lot of people do, where you think, oh, I just want to play Skyrim again, definitely. I think I'm going to feel that way about this game. I didn't play it for a long time, and then obviously coming back to it for the channel was really cool. But having played it again, I definitely feel that I'm going to get that itch to go, I'd love to play the original Devil May Cry again. I would definitely play it again, absolutely. So in conclusion, Devil May Cry, super awesome. Great game. Absolutely fantastic. I would highly recommend that you get it. I'm really glad that I played it on the channel. I think that Dante is one of the coolest characters like ever made. Even still now, he still is one of the coolest characters. If anything, he got cooler as the series went on. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I chose it to play it on the channel. Great gameplay, enjoyable story, excellent graphics, really, really just beautiful to look at, great atmosphere. Yeah, such a great game. I really, really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to get stuck in to the rest of the games, because I'm obviously going to be playing those on the channel at some point. Not heard great things about Devil May Cry 2. I never played that. I played a bit of 3, but I never played 2, and I've not heard great things about it, so we'll see. I mean, we'll see, because it's going to be coming up on the channel at some point during my channel's life. So, yeah, in conclusion, Devil May Cry is fantastic. I'm really glad I played it on the channel. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this follow-up to my playthrough of Devil May Cry. If you want to check out any of the videos and you haven't checked it out yet, they're all in the description below, so go ahead and check them out. If you enjoyed this video and if you enjoyed the series, then please support the channel by hitting the subscribe button, then click the notification bell, spread the word, and always remember to take it easy.